Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing myself building Nefer here and then also testing her. Unfortunately, I somehow lost my footage of my pulls. So I topped up about $500 and they actually went pretty well. Like I didn't even use $400 of the 500 that I topped up. So it went pretty well, and I got her weapon at like 50 pity. Like it was overall a super nice summoning session. I wish you guys could have seen it. I definitely would have included it in this video. So what you're seeing here is basically me farming the boss. I didn't really want to wait to do the Archon quest. I really just wanted to have her at level 90 right away. She's one of my favorite Nod-Cry characters aesthetically. So I just really wanted to have her fully built and ready to go right away. So I was basically popping all my fragile resin. I was using refreshes to farm her boss. Honestly, I wish a lot of characters were more pre-farmable because, you know, whenever there's a new update, they always have to lock the boss material behind a new boss, which I kind of find annoying. It's just, I like being able to prepare for the new character instead of, you know, having to farm it on release. But it's okay, we managed to get the materials very, very quickly. The next thing I do is immediately start leveling up the weapon. And as you can see, I pre-farmed a lot of the weapon material. And I actually happen to have a lot of the Sumeru weapon material just sitting around. I actually didn't have to farm a single domain for this. I just had it from all the Sumeru patch events that they used to do. It was just sitting there piling up, and I was actually able to do this without spending any resin at all, which is super great. The next thing I start doing here is ascending her as much as possible. She ascends with crit damage, and she actually ends up getting a lot of crit damage here on the build overall. And as you can see, I have 300 crit damage. I already have her artifacts on her. I have been pre-farming her artifacts non-stop, and I have a decent build on her. It is definitely an improvable build. It's by no means a complete build. I'm definitely going to try to improve it over the next month or so. And I might make another video kind of updating my Nefer build and just showing it off a little bit, showing what she can do, especially in Stygian. So look forward to those types of videos. Now that we have her level 90, I start claiming my free pulls, and the next thing I do is start leveling her talents, and we want to take her talents all the way up to level 10. I'm just gonna full send it, and thank goodness for this feature, by the way. It made leveling talents so much easier. In the past, you used to have to click in and out of the menu over and over again, and man, it was super annoying. I also did pre-farm these. I've been pre-farming it for a while now. Don't ask how I knew what she needed, I just knew. We got both of the talent levels up to level 10, and this is the finished build. Double crowned with 51.9 crit rate and 321 crit damage. And yeah, before I finish off here, I do want to say that this build is most certainly improvable with a lot more EM and a lot more crit damage. My artifact quality is pretty low here. Before I go into the Abyss showcase, I kind of want to talk briefly about how Nefer works, okay? And before I talk about Nefer's kit specifically, I want to talk about another mechanic in the game called Verdant Dew. And that's basically this gauge on the right here. So Verdant Dew is a system that can only be activated and utilized by characters that can activate the Lunar Bloom reaction, right? So characters like Lauma and Nefer can both utilize this system. And basically how the Verdant Dew system works is to generate Verdant Dew, which is those moons on the gauge there, you need to activate the Lunar Bloom reaction. And basically how this system works is for every 2.5 seconds that passes after you trigger Lunar Bloom, you'll gain a Verdant Dew. You want to be activating Lunar Bloom and generating Verdant Dew before you switch into Nefer, especially if you have 0 Verdant Dew. Okay, that's something that you really need to keep in mind. So I highly recommend starting out with Lauma in the rotation, just because using her first will allow you to immediately get the Lunar Bloom procs, right? And that'll be generating you Verdant Dew, so when you switch into her, you're ready to rock and roll. So now that I've talked about the Verdant Dew mechanic, I want to talk about Nefer's elemental skill, because this is the most important part of her kit, and it's something that you're going to need to understand going into using her. So when you press her skill, her E, she will enter the Shadow Dance state. And basically in this state, she'll be able to do enhanced charge attacks, okay? And these charge attacks are called Phantasm Performance. And anytime you use your charge attack or your Phantasm Performance, you will get a big number, a big lunar bloom damage charge attack. And that is what you want. You want to be generating these big charge attack hits. But in order to use a charge attack, you're going to need Verdant Dew. So this is why I have been talking a little bit about the Verdant Dew mechanic, because it's super important to have these Verdant Dew stacks so that when you go into Nefer, you're able to do big damage, because that's what her purpose is after all, to do big damage. Nefer's elemental skill isn't the only useful part of her kit either. There's another mechanic in her kit that I really do want to talk about, because it's another reason that you really want to be using Lauma and Ino, or Lauma and any other Hydro applicator first. So the big thing is that you really want to be generating as many Dendro cores as possible, because Nefer has a unique mechanic in her kit called Seeds of Deceit, and basically she turns any Dendro cores on the ground into Seeds of Deceit. This Seed of Deceit mechanic is unique to Nefer. And the reason that these cores are super important to her kit is because when she unleashes her charged attack here, she will absorb these seeds. And when she absorbs them, she'll gain a stack called Veil of Falsehood. The name isn't really important. Just know that she's gaining stacks when she consumes these cores. And in turn, she is increasing the overall damage of her charge attack. So you really want to have as many of these stacks as possible when you're using her charge attacks. Also, when she reaches her third stack, she'll get a huge EM buff. So when you're spawning those seeds on the ground and then you absorb them, you're getting those 3 stacks, your Nefer will have a solid EM buff as well. So now that I've explained the Verdant Dew mechanic system, along with Nefer's elemental skill and her Seeds of Deceit, I'm going to be showing you, probably in my opinion, the best rotation, along with her premium team. Alright, so when starting off with her rotation, we're immediately going to switch out to Lauma, skill into burst, and the reason for that is because we immediately want to be generating Verdant Dew, and then we'll switch into Ino to start generating those blooms and Verdant Dew. And then we'll skill and burst with Nahida here. Then immediately into Nefer, we're going to skill, 3 charged attacks, and then we will burst into another 3 charge attacks. That is the most simplified version of her rotation, dash canceling all of her elemental skill enhanced hits because it allows for more damage in a shorter duration of time, and this is very simple to do. And that's her basic rotation. And hopefully this rotation will help you guys perform the best with Nefer. And with that being said, I just kind of wanted to showcase what my C2R1 Nefer is capable of doing in the Abyss right now. Maybe it'll convince you guys to pull for her. She's super fun, I will say. She is probably one of the most fun characters in the game right now, in my opinion. So let's take a look. So anyways, guys, before I end off the video, I just kind of wanted to share my first impressions of Nefer as a character. Combat-wise, I think she's really strong, but there is one problem that I do want to talk about, and that's just that she's very premium. And what I mean by premium is that I really think that she values having Lauma on her team very significantly. She'll get a 10% crit rate and crit damage. I forget what the crit damage buff is, but a very valuable crit buff from Lauma's ult. So not having that can really increase her build requirements. And then also just having the ability to produce Verdant Dew from Lauma is really valuable. So that's something to keep in mind if you're free to play and you don't have Lauma. It's just something to keep in mind when going to pull for her. But I think that she's definitely the strongest Dendro DPS in the game right now, like without a doubt. There's really not a doubt in my mind. She is super strong and super fun to play. Overall, combat-wise, just great. As for the aesthetic, I mean, come on. She's a hot woman. What's there not to like about this character? The Sumeru aesthetic, the green, I mean, the skin showing, holy shit. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, you know all that stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!